Sathya Sai Speaks, Volume 11, Chapter 35, The Royal Road, Part 1 of 2. The resolutions made at this conference, the rules and regulations framed here for the units of the organization, must be taken by you as the royal road to the divine presence. They render the journey smooth and quick. As children of Bharat, you have to foster the ideals of its ancient culture, guarding it by the discipline these rules prescribe. So far, as a result of mental and intellectual weakness, you are finding it impossible to adhere to those ideals and to observe the vow and restrictions that they impose. Though we have been laying down many rules and restrictions and guidelines during the last 5 years for the proper working of the units and emphasizing their importance, they have been more misused than made use of for the betterment of the organization. As a result of misuse, you find yourselves helpless in cleansing the blemishes in your own minds and eradicating the evils rampant in society. The brightness of the sky is hidden by a thick fog, so too. The fog of evil and vice darkens the heart and breeds atheism and other diseases. This has made you forget the very purpose of your existence, as well as of the organization which has been established to help you. Take note of this while you can. Some men enter into even adhyatmic spiritual organizations and secure places of importance there with various ambitions and plans. They believe, often sincerely, that their own plans are the best and their methods are the best spiritually. Many might do this on account of sheer ignorance of the purpose and plan of the Sathya Sai organization which they enter, but ignorance is no excuse. Atma has no birth or death, nor does it grow or weaken. The nature of electricity is still a mystery, but man has devised 1,000 ways of benefiting by it. Electricity is found everywhere in nature, but it can be collected, stored, and utilized only through certain contrivances designed by man. The spiritual Atma Shakti, inner divine power, that is also everywhere, is stored in a body and passed through the thin wires or nerves. It illumines and directs activity. These activities have to be oriented towards Ananda and not attachments to temporary pleasures. The life principle that flows as intelligence through every cell and nerve is also a reflection of the Atma. That which is born has also to die. Coming implies going. That which has no birth has no death either. The Atma has no birth, no death, nor can you say it spreads or grows or weakens. It has no history. It is. That is all that can be said about it. It is ever intelligence, ever bliss. There is the urge to desire a thing that is named Ichcha Shakti, but it too is a derivative of the Atma Shakti, the divine that is your core. Realize it as such and do not demean it by desiring deleterious objects. Desire, so sublimated, is the basis of prema, love. It is the fruit of the seed of God-ward-directed Ichcha Shakti. The fruit has a bitter rind, maya, And the hard seeds, the cognition of distinctions, these have to be discarded and the sweetness tasted. That sweet juice is the Ananda the Atma confers. Of course, there are a few fortunate individuals who imbibe the juice itself without the labor of peeling off the rind and picking out the seeds. Prahlada was one of this kind, unaffected by Maya or by the folly of awareness of distinctions. From his very birth, he knew only the sweetness of the name of the Lord, of the juice of the fruit from the tree of love. Each of you has to pass through 3 stages. No boy can join college the moment he steps into school. Several stages have to be reached and got over: the primary, the middle, the secondary, the higher secondary, and the intermediate. So too, we have in the spiritual path the stages of work, worship, wisdom, and finally sacrifice. Sacrifice is when the ripe fruit falls from the tree, sacrificing its affection and attachment, weaning itself away from its support and sustenance. Work is for the physical level, worship for the mental, and wisdom for spiritual. You have to pass through the 3 stages, each one of you. When I say you, there are 3 yous. The one you think you are, namely the body, the physical person. The one others think you are, the mental you, your passions, emotions, impulses, attitudes, beliefs, feelings. And finally, the one you really are, namely the Atma, the spirit, the real reality of your personality. Now you must examine whether the unit for which you are responsible is in the primary stage or any higher stage. Judging from the fact that this is the 5th year, we can assert that the organization is now in the middle school stage, a stage during which discipline has to be vigilantly observed, so that the high school and college stages might prove beneficial. The larger the number of stories you wish to erect, the deeper the foundation has to be laid. You are planning to construct the supremely majestic tower of Atma realization, and therefore great attention has to be paid to the provision of a solid foundation of faith and discipline, of dedication and surrender. Examine your own activities in these units and judge for yourselves whether such a foundation is being laid therein. Follow the path laid down by saints. Man has increased his capacity of construction and destruction 1,000,000-fold by means of yantras, machines he has put together. An atom bomb causes destruction which several armies cannot accomplish. So too, in the spiritual field, the latent forces in man can achieve the stupendous task of piercing the mystery of the universe through the mantras he had discovered. Mantra means potent formula. Man makes yantras, mantra makes man. The maker of yantras is called a scientist. The knower of mantra is called a saint. When you follow the path laid down by the saints, you can be sure of success, for they have laid it with the purest of intentions and with the noblest of ideals. The Lord is neither in heaven nor in Kailash or Vaikuntha or Swarg. To believe that he is manifest only in one place or location, and to journey thither is a superstition much to be deplored. He is everywhere, in everyone, at all times. He is the witness of all, in all. He is the energy that fills space and time, and he is the energy that manifests as causation. The organization must implant this truth in the minds of the members and spread this truth without fear and fumble. It must reveal man to himself as a visible, moving embodiment of divinity, in whom God shines, through whom God beckons. God is to be worshipped in and through man. This is the message that you have to put into daily practice. This is the main plank of the program you have to carry out. You should not import the tactics and tricks of political power hunting into the units, nor should there be any trace of dislike or distrust on score of nationality, language, caste, economic status, scholarship, age or gender. Revere the Atma and derive Atma Ananda, spiritual bliss, through love. God is the origin of all languages. Why attach false values to these exterior symbols? Why develop prejudice for the reason that a man was born on the other side of a political boundary, or calls God in another language? God is the origin of all languages. Boundaries shift and are subject to revision, resettlement and change. 20 years ago, when someone from Bombay asked a farmer of Puttaparthi where he belonged to, he got the reply, "I am from Madras state." But Madras state has since broken into Andhra state and Tamil Nadu, so that the Andhras and the Tamils have started developing antagonistic loyalties and a new narrow ideal. These are man-made differences and should not interfere with Godward activities. God made the universe as one single home for one single family. Each state is but an apartment in that mansion. Members of the organization must extend love and respect to persons belonging to any state, any religion, any caste or community, and speaking any language. To give a small example, this happened just a week ago. A few years ago, in 1956, both Bangladesh and Pakistan, they were both one state then, invaded India. Recently, Bangladesh sought refuge with India since Pakistan decided to hold it down by terrorizing the people. The people of Bharat did not in the least remember the enmity of the people of Bangladesh in the past and hold it against them in their hour of mortal distress. They welcomed them with brotherly love and helped them with food, shelter, and clothing, and saved millions of them from extinction. End of part 1 of 2. Madras, December 23rd, 1971.